Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I'm thankful to you that you guys came here and you've been coming before, right? You've been coming for a long time. So I would like to share some first-hand information based on my own experience, how to reshape your life and your career, right? It's quite important these days. We look around for some ideas, and especially when we see other people being successful, we want to know how this person has become successful. And sometimes we understand the success of people, few people, and their success we understand, but we don't understand how come a majority of people, they became successful with no obvious reason. Sometimes we don't see that. And on the other hand, at times we don't figure out why this person became this successful, what is it that he did, and at times we only see the outcome, the end result. We don't see the effort and all that. I mean, for example, if we talk about any singer and we talk about his one super hit song, now that super hit song is the effort of 10 to 15 or 20 years, and that one super hit song, and then after that life is never the same. It's entirely different. So that one sixer is what we require. And how to do that, how to reshape our lives, that we come up to a point where we are given a chance to hit that sixer, and that sixer is going to be the only or best sixer of our life. You might see cricket matches. Javed Miandad, once upon a time, he hit a sixer, and that sixer changed his life, and after that he got retirement and all that stuff. So, I mean, two things. The first thing is you should be willing and prepared and skilled enough to hit the sixer whenever life gives you a chance. What happens? Most of us, we are always looking for the chance without any preparation. And when the chance comes, we waste the chance, right? Now, for instance, if I want to become a successful YouTuber and I want my channel to have 20 million subscribers, at the moment I'm not prepared for that. 3 years ago, when I started using YouTube, I had only 4,000 subscribers, and I don't know how they came on my channel. I uploaded few videos. I did not even track those videos, and people joined me, and then one day I saw they were around 4,000 subscribers, and I was like, wow, I didn't do anything for that. So then gradually I went on, and at this point of time, I am ready to cater to handle 1 million subscribers. I've got around 520,000 subscribers now. So inshallah, this year or next, I'm going to have that as well. So the thing is, there are two things. One is preparation, one is opportunity, right? If you meet opportunity without preparation, bad luck, hard luck. You got a chance, but you are not prepared, and you wasted that chance, and that chance could be one of the most important chances of your life. And sometimes you are prepared, full preparation, but you never get any opportunity. So these two things, that's what they say, the definition of success. Success is when preparation meets opportunity. You prepared yourself for something, you got an opportunity, and there you are. So anyways, in order to reshape your career as well as your life, the first thing is your habits. Now you need to see carefully, what are my habits, right? Because you know, your personal traits are so much important, they become your professional traits. And in your success, your habits play a vital role. Now, for instance, you are committed. Whatever you say, you do it. Whenever you have a commitment with someone, you come up to that commitment. So when you become professional, a committed professional, most definitely this thing will pay you in your professional life, right? On the other hand, you are very good at time management. You manage your time very well, and you are an early riser as well, and you manage things. So when you're going to come into your professional life, this thing is actually going to pay you. So you need to watch your habits carefully. Sometimes our habits are the main distraction to our achievements or to whatever we want to get. Our habits are the main distraction, and obviously these habits are the bad habits. Good habits will never be a distraction or anything like that. So in order to be successful, you should see what are my habits which need either modification or elimination. Modification with a little modification. For example, I never meet deadlines and I'm very bad at time management. So I need modification, I need to change myself, right? And if there is a habit, for example, you sleep a lot, okay? But you sleep a lot during the day, right? So this is one of the habits that is not going to help you out anyways, because you know all the successful people, if you see one of their main qualities, they are early risers. Early riser doesn't mean every morning 4 o'clock you are up and there is nothing to do and you're looking around. Early riser means if there is something to do, most definitely you can wake up for that. I mean, you don't have a reason. If I say, let's play football tomorrow, and you say time, I say 6 o'clock. Oh, sorry, I can't wake up at 6. Right? If there is something important and for that you can modify yourselves, most definitely that's going to be fine. So the first thing is habits. Now, the second most important thing is focus. You know, the area of your life and your career will start growing where you put your focus. I've seen this thing in my own life. Once upon a time, I used to focus English language. And I was very successful being an English language teacher, right? I taught English, I made DVD programs, different programs on English language and all that, and people bought those programs. I had English message service. There were around 400,000 people who used to receive my SMS. My all focus was on English, and that thing actually flourished. After some time, I changed my focus. Why? Because I was bored with what I was doing at that time. I changed my focus. My next focus was IELTS. Now, when I changed my focus, before that, I was teaching IELTS, but IELTS was not my focus. That's why it did not grow that much. And when I changed my focus, changing your focus means you pay close attention to something, and then you want that thing to flourish in your life. You want that thing to become your identity. So when I changed my focus to IELTS, it took me only 3 years, just 3 years, that now people know me in almost every country of the world. You name it, and I tell you, yes, I receive messages from there. Now I remember many countries, country codes as well. I got messages from Israel, from Russia, from Mexico, everywhere. So it's just the power of focus. It does not mean that before that I was not focusing IELTS, but actually my main focus was English, right? And I mean, you'd be surprised to know, once I decided stop teaching IELTS. I decided not to teach IELTS because English is better, so I should go on. And today, people know me more than my English language identification. Now they know me as an IELTS trainer. So this is something very important. You need to change your focus. And when you change your focus, most definitely your skill set will also change with the focus, right? It's important. Now, what I do, I read various books. And another thing I tell you, like again, if I go back 4 years ago, I actually wanted to become a motivational speaker. That was my main thing. But actually, you need to see two things. You need to see what is it that people want from you, number one. Number two, you need to see what is it that you can do better than the other one. Now, if I talk about my motivational stuff, although I can do that, but I can teach IELTS better than that motivational speaking, right? So sometimes, you know what we do, we insist ourselves that no, I want to do motivational speaking. I want to motivate people. I want to do that. I will not do IELTS. Actually, you should see what is it that people appreciate in you. Develop that talent. Once you develop that talent, what people want to see in you, then after that you can do anything. Now let me tell you, when I wanted to become a motivational speaker, my own story was not very interesting. You know, in order to be a good motivational speaker, you should have a story to tell people that look at me. I am a motivational speaker, but I only motivate people. I have nothing inside. I don't have anything to tell you, no achievements. People want to see if you are a motivational speaker, what have you achieved in your life so far? So when I came up with that, then I stopped the idea of becoming motivational speaker. I focused English language, then I focused IELTS. Now at least people are willing to know. 3 years ago, I was someone else. Today, I'm someone else. I can afford different things. I've got no financial issues. 3 years ago, I had a lot of troubles and all that stuff. So you need to see what is it that is good in you. And if there isn't anything, you can develop that thing over time. And then you need to see what is it that people appreciate about you. You want to become a singer, for example. You sing songs and people say, look at him, right? They say, your voice is not suitable for singing. You cannot become a singer. And you say, now I will become a singer. This is how you will waste your life. And this is what people do. You know, when we talk about eggs and when we boil the eggs, one is hard-boiled and one is half-boiled. Half-boiled and hard-boiled. Hard-boiled means fully boiled. So if you are skilled, that means you are like fully boiled egg. And if you are unskilled, you are like half-boiled egg, right? You know, the egg yolk will scatter here and there. So it is a good idea to develop one talent up to the extreme instead of developing 4 or 5 talents. Now, if you call it electrician, simple example, right? You tell the electrician, we have some plumbing problem as well. And electrician says, I can do plumbing as well. After that, you tell him, we've got some carpentry issues as well. He says, I am a carpenter too. And then you will start doubting him that electrician, plumber, carpenter, what is he actually? So if you have several undeveloped skills, they will not pay you. You just need to see one developed skill, and that skill should develop up to a level that people acknowledge your services. People acknowledge. Now, I become very, very happy. Let me tell you one thing honestly, my background is very ordinary background. I don't come from an extraordinary background. I'm from a very ordinary background. I just put some efforts. My students guided me. They came up to me, sir, why don't you do this? Sir, why don't you do that? For example, in one of my classes, there was a guy from social media. He said, sir, why don't you start your YouTube channel? Sir started. Then another guy came after a couple of years, sir, why don't you monetize your YouTube channel? I did. Somebody said, sir, why don't you do that? So I listened to everyone, and then I decided, like, there are few things, whenever you listen to suggestions, some suggestions are accepted, some suggestions are rejected. So people suggested me, I listened to their suggestions, what I thought was good, I acted upon that, and this is where I reached. So I was just talking about these talents, and you got to see what, and the talent you develop should have value in the market as well. It should be something unusual. I really feel sad when I go to any good restaurant for dinner and I see in a corner someone is playing flute very beautifully, but no one is caring, no one is listening, no one wants to see, but he is there because he is paid for that and he is playing that flute. Now he developed that talent, he spent all his life, but that talent does not bring a huge change in people's life. Remember one thing, the bigger the problem and you have the solution to that problem, that is a great opportunity for you. By the time load shedding started in Pakistan, the people who made UPS, see, the problem was bigger in summer, they became very successful. Now because of Corona, many people suffered. At the same time, there are some people who actually became rich beyond their wildest imagination. You know that? Yeah? So you just need to see the talent which you are developing. Is that talent good? And then there is another thing. Most of the time you work for others. I mean, you render your services to others for some rupees, say 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. In 50,000 rupees, you become a sort of a conveyance, a sort of a taxi, and other people travel, other people do their journey. Now, your legs are walking, but on your shoulder, actually you have responsibilities that belong to other, but you are traveling, but people are going towards their destinations. So you are just like a puppet, right? At the end, after 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of your service, we are doing some downsizing, so we apologize for that. And now you have to leave this job. And then you say, what should I do now? Let me tell you, you should develop a sort of a career that is independent, that does not depend on others. I've got many examples in my own life. Once I started thinking that after every 3 years I come to zero, then I start my journey because I work for others, right? I do seminars, they get benefit. I do workshops, they get benefit. And after 3 years again, I come back to zero. And then in 2010, I said enough is enough. Okay, enough is enough. Now I'll not do that. I'll not repeat that. I need to do something which is of my own, where nobody can say, sorry, we don't need your services. So I decided to render my services to myself through my own platform. Initially, it was very difficult. It wasn't easy. Like initially, we had a lot of problems and this and that and all that. I made a team. We worked together. The first thing was how to generate enough money so that I could pay the money to my team members, their salaries and all that. The things went on and on and on. And today, I'm really thankful to God. The people who fired me from the job, especially in 2010, I was like, what to do now? But now I am so much thankful to them. In 2010, I was very sad because they fired me from the job. I worked for them for 5 years, literally from zero to up to a stage where people knew me, people knew that institution as well, and we made a lot of money as well. And then they said, why a teacher is making a lot of money? We can hire any other teacher and we can do the same thing without him, right? So you need to do one thing. I mean, whenever you are traveling, make sure you are covering your own distance. Make sure you are walking towards your own destination. It's not that you are working like, if a cart is going on weddings, you see there is a cart, buggy we call it. There are 8 to 10 horses. Now those horses are not working for themselves. They're only working for food. There is someone else who wants to reach the destination. So you need to develop something that pays you in the long run. And now when I see, the things which are happening all around me, when I see, most of the time I become doubtful about myself. Is it me? God Almighty has given me all these things. Am I enjoying all these things? So then even you will be surprised one day that I was not able for all these things, but I just achieved all these things. Anyways, so this is one thing. Now, let's talk about setbacks. Setbacks are failures. Setbacks are problems. You often have setbacks in your life. And what we do whenever, there are two types of people. Whenever there is a setback, they think setback means disaster, failure. Remember, failure is only when you accept failure. When you don't accept anything as failure, that's just the part of the plan. That's just one you can say on your route. These are the things like that. So I would like to give you some examples of my own setbacks and how I came out. And I would like you also, remember, whenever there is a setback in your life, whenever there is a troublesome situation where you feel disappointed, for example, someone slams the door, you lose your job, you fail your exam, right? You fail to get admission. That does not mean failure. That will only be failure if you surrender. For example, I wanted to do something, I failed and I surrendered. Yes, I am a failure now. But if I don't surrender, I try to do it doing another way, most definitely I can be successful. So on this journey, I came across several setbacks, and whenever there was a setback, whenever there was any serious problem that could send me back to pavilion. You see, when the player is in the ground holding a bat, he can only stay there unless he is out. When the player is out, now he cannot say, "No, I want to play more. Please give me another chance. I want to play more." He cannot actually do that. So the setbacks should be dealt. Whenever there is a problem, accept it. Okay, this has happened. Now stop thinking about it, why it happened. Right? You know, we just all the time blaming why it happened, why this happened with me only, why these type of things only happen with me, right? Just now change it, accept it as this has happened with me. Now what next? When you think about what next, most definitely you find new opportunities. I would like to share an example. I started a message service where I used to send English vocabulary message, one message a day. It was all about English language message, word, meaning, pronunciation, all that. First I started with the mobile, then I went on and on and on. There were 10,000 people, 100,000 people. Then I took a service called SMS All, and there I started sending message very comfortably. Finally, it reached 366,000 people. 100% I was actually depending on that message service. Every day I used to send one message of English vocabulary. Along with that, weekly, once a week, I used to promote my courses, DVD courses on English language, English grammar, and all that. Then suddenly I came to know this message service is going to be blocked. Now, what next? Nothing, right? Because you know, my 100% things were dependent on that. I didn't know what to do. That was the time. I'm just giving you this example that you get to know whenever there is a setback, that means there is something different waiting for you. That means there is something new waiting for you. That was the time I talked to a couple of people and they said, "Why don't you come to social media?" Social media means this YouTube, Facebook, and all that stuff. So I decided to do so. And by the way, whenever there is a setback, you cannot get immediate results. Results take time. It's not that immediately you come to social media and you become very successful, not at all. But the thing is consistency. You need to go on consistently, right? Once upon a time, I used to be very happy when my video on YouTube got 100 views. I was like, wow, amazing. 100 people saw my video. That was my feeling back 4 years ago and all that. So I decided to switch from that SMS service to YouTube. Initially, things were difficult. Initially, we had certain challenges. It was me. Have you ever seen behind rickshaws people advertise? I had to do that also. I used to pay 300 to 400 rupees to the rickshaw driver and to make requests that please allow this flex behind your rickshaw for a week or for 10 days and all that. So I went on with all those things. IELTS, I remember BA English, IELTS, Yasin used to go with a tape and flex, and we used to do that all. Because my SMS service, that was the main source of publicity for me, it was closed. Now the thing is, I could do one other thing. The service closed, I am dead. I will not do anything now because my full dependence was there. But I had learned over the time. Initially, I used to be very much negative-minded person. But over the time, I've learned whenever you lose something, just try to look at something else which God has actually created for you, and you need to work out on it, and then you can find it. Now, this is same person. I remember through rickshaws we advertised. Sometimes people came, sometimes they did not come. Then we developed this YouTube, Facebook, all that. And now people come from other countries to take classes from me. Last year, a guy came from Canada. right? And he just came, he decided, he set his timetable that I will go to Pakistan and there I'll take classes and take my IELTS test and all that. So these things do not happen overnight. You just need to see what is it that I can cultivate inside me. And once you just cultivate something inside, it should actually reap up to a level, or it should ripe up to a level that there is no one else after you. Now, for example, if I talk about you want to become English language trainer. So you should ripe this talent up to a point that you are the best. And you will not decide that you are the best. You will not determine you are the best. You just have to give your best, and then you see God Almighty will make you the best. And if you don't give your best, and you know what I mean when I say give your best, at this point in time, we are not giving our best to our life. I'm not giving the best to my life. I know what my shortcomings are, what my weaknesses are, and all that. So once you give your best to your profession, to your career, then most definitely you will be the best in that very field. But this will not happen overnight. That you say, it's been 5 days, I'm giving my best, but nothing is happening. These things take time. Another important thing, that is patience. You should have patience. If you don't have patience, most definitely, then you will shift from one job to another job. If you don't have patience, you will shift from one field to another field, then another field, then another field, and then you will not be able to become the master of any field. That's what we say, everywhere but nowhere. Everywhere but nowhere. Or we also say jack of all trades and master of none. So you need to wait. And there's another thing, whenever you step into any field, any professional career, you need to see what is the best of this thing. For instance, if you want to become motivational speaker, you can see top 10 motivational speakers of the world. Then you can see the reputation they are enjoying. And then you can say, yes, this is a good field. Why do some people want to become cricketers? They have seen the lifestyle of successful cricketers. They have seen the money they are earning, international tours they are making, and then you see they are getting a lot of money. Even they are wearing a shirt, for that shirt they get money, right? So that's why you want to. So whatever field you want to choose, just see the extreme of that field, and then don't stay quiet, stay silent unless you reach there. And believe you me, sooner or later, you are going to be there. If you work hard, if you are giving your best. Now, there's another thing. If we talk about it, sometimes we don't give our best because we believe that we will give our best when the time comes. That time will never come. If you're waiting that, okay, if I go abroad, then I will do a job. One of my friends, he didn't do any job. He said, I would do a job in Dubai. I said, you should do something here. No, ekko dafa Dubai jaake hi karange. So these type of people are even unsuccessful, even after changing their locations as well. All right, let's go on. Another important thing is you need to build excellent relations in order to be successful in your life, in your career. Without good relations, without good people around you, you cannot achieve anything. I mean, just imagine you won a lottery and you won, okay, let's have a small amount. You won $500,000 rupees. $500,000 rupees. Whom will you call and tell first? Friend or mother or father or brother or sister, right? Because you know this is something big and you want to share it with someone. So you should have reliable relations in your life. It's not that you won a lottery, I'll not tell anybody. I'll hide the money somewhere and then I'll spend that money all alone. Remember, now the time is changing. Instead of going into the hell of competition, you should go in the heaven of cooperation. right? Instead of competing, like I'm English language teacher, he's English language teacher, I'm competing with him, right? I tell people he's not good, he tells people he's not good. And instead of that, so building good relationship, now these relationships can be with strangers, these relationships can be with your family members, with your relatives, all around. But I mean, you know, the type of person you are and your professional life, you should have some professional relations which are related to your field. For example, if you are a teacher, you should have some good relations with some good teachers. If you are a sort of a scientist, or if you are a banker, you should have some good relations with bankers, the one thing. Second, you should always have a shoulder to cry. We are human beings, right? And never do this thing that you are fighting with yourself all alone. There are some people who never share. If they are in trouble, the trouble will be on their face. They will never share it with any of their family members, right? I share my everything even with my children. See that? You should. And when you share with children, sometimes even if you are in trouble, my father passed away 2.5 months ago, and there was my daughter, and I was talking to my daughter and I said, Adeen, how will I live without my father? And look at her, 13-year-old girl. Her answer was, Daddy, how your father lived without his father. And that answer gave me a lot of motivation. That okay, so I have to be like my own father, because when my father's father, my grandfather passed away, my father also lived without him, and I got this lesson from a child, right? So sometimes if you have comfortable relations, disconnect yourself with negative people. Disconnect yourself with the people when you think about them or see them, you feel bad. There are some people, we just take a look at them and say, all right, these people make me feel bad or anything. You need to disconnect with those. Okay, anyways, the next thing is confidence. The confidence factor is very, very important. Now, what's the confidence factor? Confidence factor is you are confident. By the way, you guys are confident the way you walked in Royal Palm, the way you took the stairs or elevator, came here, asked people, and you're confident, I'm going to a seminar. In the same way, life is a journey, and you need to go on this journey confidently. Now, what is confidence? Confidence is basically elimination or absence of fear and worry. Enemies of confidence, there are two enemies only. One is fear and one is worry. If I say, for example, if I say, come over here and make a speech. Now, if you don't come, it means you're not confident. Behind that, what's the reason? A feeling of fear that if I go there, what will happen? And you are worried, if by chance I come there and I fail to speak, people will make fun of me. So you need to overcome your fears and you need to learn to tackle your worries. It doesn't mean there should not be any fear, absence of fear. Absence of fear is impossible. Absence of worries, that is also impossible. But how to cater, how to deal with your worries and how to take care of your fear, that is something that makes you confident. I've shared this story several times. I used to teach home tuitions as well. Once there was a time I had to do that, okay? So I used to teach home tuitions and I used to teach Spanish to someone. In his house, there were 2 dogs. And I was afraid of dogs as I am today, right? Wherever I go, if I see a dog, I'm really afraid of dogs. So in his house, he had 2 dogs and I used to go to teach him 3 days a week, Spanish language. And every time I entered the house, I used to ask the servants, are the dogs tied properly? And the servants, sir, don't worry, they know you, the dogs will not say anything. But I said, dogs know me, but I don't know them. So they may bark at me, they may do all that. But at the same time, I observed my student who had the dogs. He used to play with his dogs. He used to even speak with his dogs. And he used to say, come here, go there, and the dogs used to respond to that. And I was like, and my only fear was those dogs. Every time I went to that house, I taught that student for around 2 to 3 years, right? Every time I went to his house, my fear was dogs. Now, the thing was, they used to make me sit in a drawing room, and then drawing room's door was from the kitchen and from the other side. And the kitchen's door was sliding door. You know, sliding doors don't even lock and all that. One day I was sitting waiting for my student and the dog came in the room. It was just me and that dog. And that dog was international breed. He had imported from some other country, around ₹500,000 dog. Right now, when the dog was there, one thing was to shout and cry and all that. First, I was like this. And then I decided not to show this to the dog. And I had already seen the master of the dog talking to the dog. Dog's name was Magnum. Now, I collected all my courage, all that, and then I said, Magnum. Magnum became alert. I said, Magnum, sit down. The dog sat down. And I was like, oh my God, this is the dog I was afraid of. And I said, Magnum, angrily, and the dog sat down. Now, my second stance was to make this dog leave the room. Then second time I said, Magnum, go. And the dog went as it came from the door. So this is how we have the fears. Now, I'm thankful to God that I got an opportunity to remove my fear. And many of us, we don't even try to get into that opportunity where we can remove our fears. We avoid those opportunities. We never go into that situation. If your fear of life is coming to the podium and I give you a chance, you say, no, I will not come. I used to teach English language. On every Thursday, we used to have presentations. 3-minute presentation in English at the podium. And believe you me, half of the students used to be absent on that day. Why? They did not want to face a situation that is a fearful situation in their life. So all you need to do, face your fears. Face the fearful situations of your life, and then those situations will make you strong. I would like to share another thing with you, although this is the saddest part of my life, but I would like to share this with you. In my family, I'm the sort of a person who is a very weak-hearted person. Like, you know, I'm a sort of a person who is quite weak-hearted person. And what happened by chance, when actually my father passed away, I was alone at the hospital. And I was called by the doctor, by the nurse, and I went up there and I thought maybe they need some medicine and all that. And they asked me, who is Mr. Yaqub to you? I said, he's my father. And then with a little pause, they said, he has been expired. He's expired, is no more. And now just see the situation. Person like me, my family thinks I am a chicken-hearted person, very weak-hearted person, and this news actually came to me first. And how I got the courage, one ayat of Holy Quran, one line of Holy Quran, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. At the time they gave me the news, they broke the news, I started saying that loudly as I could say. I did not fall on the ground. I did not become out of control as people do. But this line I repeatedly said, and it gave me confidence. Then I called my brother. I did not tell him anything. I just said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun. In English, it means although we belong to Almighty God and we have to return. Like we came from Almighty God and we have to return to Him. So now I face that fearful situation. So if I could face that, with the help of God, I can face other things in life as well, right? So you need to be in the fearful situations and then you can overcome them into confidence. Okay, now let's move on. There is another thing, that is we all make plans, right? With closed eyes, in our brain, all the time there is some plan going on. There is something we are thinking. But actually, we don't act upon those plans. The thing is, if without action, you never know whether your plan is going to work out or not. So all you need to do, you should be into a habit of taking action. Once you take action and you realize this thing is working for me, good, do it. If this thing doesn't work for me, don't do it in the future. Now you just know me as IELTS trainer, English language teacher, motivational speaker and all that. You don't know in the past what I did. And those were the things which did not work out for me. I did not do those things again. Whenever you decide, now see my team members are here. Whatever they dislike about me, that is something else. But out of those things, they like one thing about me. And what is that? Whenever I say something that we are going to do this, then I do that. It's not that then I stop, like, we were working on with the normal handy cams, HD handy cams. So one day I said, let's switch to DSLR cameras. Right? And it didn't take me time. I went to the bank, I took the money out from my account, and I went to the camera market and purchased this camera, for example. So whatever you have, if you have any plan, you don't know. Your plan is worth $1 million in the future. Plan is more like a seed. It's more like a seed, right? If you have a seed in your pocket, it remains in your pocket, it will never grow. But when you throw the seed into action, right? I made a video on that as well. Once there was a person, he had some seeds and he was not positive, but still he decided to sow one seed and other seeds he put in his cupboard. And then he went to a foreign country after 4-5 years. When he came back, he saw that seed turned into a huge tree with many green leaves. And so many birds had their nests there. And then he went back to his house, saw his cupboard, and there he found the other seeds also. And then he was repenting. If I would have sown these seeds also, they could also turn into big trees. So you don't know where you are today. That is just because of the actions. That is just because of the seeds you have sown, right? And whatever the seeds you did not sow, most definitely the result you are going to get, right? So you should be into a habit of taking action, and then most definitely life is going to give you back so many things, even you will be surprised. It will become difficult for you to think back once upon a time where I was and now today where I am. You will be happy, you will be proud, you will be thankful to God Almighty that I have achieved so much. So the only difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that both make plans, but only successful people act upon their plans and they reach somewhere. Unsuccessful people make plans, then again plans, then again plans, and finally they don't reach anywhere. All the best. Thank you. Now, if you have any questions, you can just ask me and we can have a little question answer session. Yes.
So today we were talking about the sensitive personality. So how can we overcome the sensitivity in our life?
Good. Very good question. How can we overcome sensitivity in our life?
Like one of my mates, he said when I have attended many seminars and have listened a lot, but still she was failed to overcome this problem.
All right. That's
So
good.
what do you say about it?
That's good. Listen, whenever you are sensitive, like why are you sensitive? Sensitive means you have certain senses that are working more than your other senses. The first thing is we need to see in which thing you are sensitive. Like if I'm sensitive about my own relations, that is one thing. Whether I am sensitive if you say something to me loudly, if you talk to me, I am sensitive in that, right? So the first thing is you should identify that in which part of the life has become triggered to be more sensitive, the first thing. Second, with the help of your friends, now I used to call and there is another dilemma. There is another dilemma. Dilemma is, for example, if you are my friend and I just deal with you with something and then I say you are sensitive. You go to him, he is also your friend. He also says you are sensitive. Then it comes to him, he says, you are sensitive. So when you listen to this word several times, you are sensitive, you are sensitive, you are sensitive, at the end, you say, I am sensitive. Now when you decide I am sensitive, tell that friend of yours that from today, you should give yourself an affirmation that I am not sensitive. I am not sensitive, right? Now, once you come up with this thing, I am not sensitive, then afterwards, now I tell you one thing, my son, right? At a couple of times I checked him and he did not lie. I thought he would lie. One day what happened? He forgot his bike outside the shop and he came back home. All the night the bike was there, the shopkeeper was my friend, he took the bike and all that, he came back home. Next day I asked my son, where is the bike? He could lie. He could say, I don't know. And he said, I forgot it at the shop. And then I did not say anything. Since that day, I started calling Mustain never tells lies. I said it once, twice, thrice, 4, 5, 10 times. I told him. Actually, I was training his brain not to tell a lie. And even today, he never lies, right? So the first thing is, you should realize I'm not sensitive, number one. Number two, you are always sensitive when you take pity on yourself. When you take pity on yourself, why does this happen to me all the time? Why these type of things only happen with me, right? So when you take pity on yourself, you become even double sensitive, number one. Another thing you should learn, there is a response to a thing. One response is flight response. One response is fight response. Sensitive people have that flight response. They blame things, they blame circumstances, they blame people. When you have a fight response, if I am sensitive, for example, he says something to me and I mind it and I start crying. Instead of crying, I need to fight for that. I need to see why did he say that, right? And let me tell you one more thing. It's all, useless thing to say someone is sensitive, someone is not sensitive. You actually make yourself sensitive, right? There are people, two type of people. For example, two friends failed the exam, final exam. Two friends failed their final exam. One of them was crying and other was saying, "Fir ki hoya?" Reaction, see that the reaction. So it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. So sensitive people always take the wrong reactions, wrong actions. That is why they become more sensitive. And then people say, you are sensitive, you are sensitive. So the first thing is, number one, you should say, I'm not sensitive at all. Then there are things that make you sensitive. You need to fight with those things. Come out of self-pity, and it will not happen overnight. It may take a week or a month, even a year. And then the same people you will see. I mean, for example, there are some people, you say, some ladies say this thing. Before marriage, I was very sensitive. And now, I'm not sensitive at all. Okay? Now I have become senseless or something like that. So this is what you learn over time. Right? So if she's going to learn over time all these things, she will not become sensitive, she will become powerful. Opposite of sensitive is you are confident. Okay? All right. Anyone else, please, with a question? A book, if you want to finish a book in one day, why are you reading it? Then you don't understand. So I'm against that. Now, the thing is, if you read a motivational book, now you need to see how does that book relate to your life. Number one. Number two, if you read book after book after book and you don't do anything practically, you will become depressed. There'll be a lot of depression that, okay, I know everything, I've attended motivational seminars, lectures, but still my life is not going anywhere. Why life is not going anywhere? Because you're not taking any action. Yes, if you're doing something, you're working on a project, right? And already you have started something that is bringing you the results. At that point, you read motivational books, they will help you. But without, it's just like that, you try to burn the fire, but there is no wood. There is no wood, you are just having one matchstick, another matchstick, there is no wood, it will never catch any fire. So if you have a project, maybe you are a student, you are working on something, or you are a businessman. Now for example, the way I am doing things, whenever I read a motivational book, I try to do something different, try to do something new. And if I have no action habit, like I've got nothing to do, then books after books, then they become fantasy books. Like once upon a time there was a crow and the crow was thirsty and all that. So read the books, and according to, for example, if you are a businessman, just see if any successful businessman has written a book. If you are a teacher, see if any successful teacher. But again, motivational books are just dead unless you act upon them. Right? Otherwise, if you say, I know 100 motivational quotations, even those quotations will not help you. Because just reading and then feeling good about it, one day money will fall on me. As you see in some motivational videos, it is raining money, dollars are falling. So you think it will happen in my life. It will not happen in your life unless you take action. So I would advise you, read 1 to 2 books, because in every book almost they have the same subjects. Same thing, goals, write your goals, time management, this, that. So start doing something so that there is some application of the knowledge. That's what we say, knowledge is power. That is condemned now. Knowledge is not power. Application of knowledge is power. So if you don't apply knowledge, that is useless, right? Okay, any other question? All right. So thank you very much for coming,